This is a Fender Supersonic, not the 60, not the 22. This is the non-reverb Supersonic. And I've changed out all the filter caps and all the electrolytics and rebuilt the low voltage power supply, which is the same circuit found in the hot rod and has the same issues. That's all pretty easily discoverable stuff. But I wanted to show you how to get the last awful noise out of this circuit, because as designed, it is terribly, terribly noisy. Now, to do that, you sacrifice the effects loop and the send return before the power amp. So you can't slave out to another amp. You can't slave another preamp to this amp if you do this. You lose the switchable effects loop, etc., etc. But at the end of it, you're left with a much, much lower noise floor. As a result, a much better sounding amp. And the way to do it is you remove C26, C67, R127, and R126. And then you run a wire from the far side of C26 right here, and it comes in to the near side of R127. And that takes the junction of the two channels, which would normally go to the effects loop and then to all this circuitry, straight to the input of the phase inverter, and dramatically lowers the noise floor. If this amp had the reverb circuit, there are ways to do this as well, but since I don't have one in front of me to show you, I don't feel comfortable putting that information out there. Now, if you're the owner of one of these amps, do not necessarily try to do this yourself. This takes quite a bit of experience. There's a lot of dangerous stuff in here, and if you don't have good soldering equipment, if you don't have good soldering technique, you can destroy your board. All this can be done fairly easily by a good tech, and I've just told you how to have it done. And all this can be very easily put back to stock if you feel the need. One other little trick for this amp. If you want to turn off the effects loop, say that you don't have the foot switch, you can't remotely turn it on and off, or you just want it always off, and you want to lose the effects loop while still having the send and return function, you can permanently turn that effects loop relay off. If nothing's plugged into the foot switch jack, it defaults to being on. You just lift R100 here. Just lift one end of R100. It's an 820 ohm half watt resistor. Or you can remove it because it's easy to get that resistor and put it back. But R100 will permanently turn off the relay that turns on the effects loop. So that's a less dramatic change you can make. It still gives a great reduction in noise. But the quietest operation I found for this series is to bypass the effects loop and the send return. I guess send return is the effects loop, then preamp out and power amp in. Just bypass all that circuitry. You're bypassing 4 triode gain stages and a lot of solid state stuff. Gives you an all analog signal. The noise floor drops. It sounds better. What's not to like?